Have you ever felt like your life was on the edge of something big, but you just couldn't see it yet? You're doing everything right. You're praying, you're hoping, you're waiting, but instead of miracles, you're met with silence. Instead of blessings, you face setbacks. And sometimes, in your quietest moments, you wonder, has God forgotten me? But what if I told you He hasn't? What if the silence was sacred? What if the struggle was preparation? What if everything you're going through right now is not a delay, but divine alignment? In today's story, we're going to explore the 5 subtle signs that something big is about to shift in your life, and more importantly, how to recognize them before they pass you by. This isn't just another video. This is a reminder, a gentle whisper from heaven. I'm not done with you yet, so take a breath, settle in, because by the end of this video, you might just realize that your breakthrough was never far away. Let's begin with the first and often most misunderstood sign, the season of struggle. Have you ever noticed that right before something good happens, life suddenly feels heavier? Doors start closing. Relationships feel strained. Nothing seems to work the way it used to. It feels like life is pushing you down, when all you've been doing is trying to rise. But here's a quiet truth. Before every breakthrough, there's often a breakdown. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Think of it like a seed buried deep in the soil. It must crack open before it can grow. In the darkness, unseen and silent, that seed begins its transformation. In the Bible, Joseph dreamed of greatness, of influence, of leadership. But before his dream came to life, he was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused and locked in prison. It didn't make sense, until it did. What looked like suffering was really God positioning him, shaping him to carry the weight of the blessing ahead. Maybe your current struggle isn't a detour. Maybe it's the fastest way forward. Here's the lesson. When life gets the hardest, it might be because something greater is about to be born through you. So if you're in a season where everything feels uncertain, don't lose hope. You're not being forgotten. You're being forged. And sometimes, to move you forward, God has to let go of what's holding you back, even if it's someone you love. Sometimes the deepest pain comes not from failure, but from separation. People you trusted drift away. Friendships fade. You feel alone, even in a crowded room. And you wonder, did I do something wrong? Why did God let them leave? But maybe it wasn't abandonment. Maybe it was alignment. Let me tell you a story. There's a shepherd who loves his sheep. And when one wanders near a cliff, what does he do? He pulls it back, not because he's cruel, but because he sees what the sheep cannot. God works the same way. Before Jesus began his greatest work, he withdrew, alone in the wilderness. 40 days. No comfort, no crowd, because sometimes, before the mission begins, the noise must end. So if you've lost someone, or been pulled from a place you thought you'd always belong, don't rush to replace the gap. What feels like rejection may actually be protection. Not everyone can go where God is taking you. Here's the lesson. Isolation is not punishment. It's preparation. He's clearing the path, so you'll have room to grow, to hear, to receive. And when you're ready, He'll reconnect you to people who match your purpose, not your past. And once the noise fades, you begin to hear something else, the quiet stirring inside your spirit. Have you ever felt it? That strange restlessness. You wake up and nothing feels wrong, yet everything feels different. You walk through your day, but your heart whispers. Something is shifting. No one around you seems to notice. But deep inside, you do. You feel the nudge, a quiet tug towards something new. You can't explain it, but you know it. That is not anxiety. That is your spirit getting ahead of your mind. Because here's a truth many ignore. Your soul often sees what your eyes haven't yet witnessed. It senses the approaching season before it arrives. Just like birds migrate before winter. Just like trees begin to shed before the cold sets in. Your spirit starts preparing before your circumstances change. You may feel disconnected from the things that once thrilled you. The job you loved now feels draining. The routines you followed now feel empty. Old dreams start to lose their shine. That's not failure. It's evolution. It's God whispering, get ready. I'm doing something new. But change rarely feels comfortable. It starts with a gentle stirring, then a quiet discomfort, until you realize you're outgrowing who you used to be. And that's okay. The caterpillar doesn't understand the cocoon. It just listens to the inner call and lets go. And sometimes letting go isn't a dramatic act. It's as simple as not forcing what no longer fits. Sometimes in life, the door you've been knocking on for years stays shut. You try harder, push further, pray louder, but nothing moves. And just when you're about to give up, another door opens quietly, unexpectedly. You didn't ask for it. You didn't chase it. But somehow it found you. That's what grace looks like. It's the job you never applied for. The person you meet in the most ordinary place. The message that shows up in your life exactly when you needed it. It's God saying, stop forcing what isn't for you. I've already prepared something better. You see, the world teaches us to hustle for everything. Push, climb, compete. But spiritual wisdom teaches a different rhythm. Alignment over striving. Surrender over control. When your heart is open and your spirit is aligned, opportunities don't need to be forced. They flow because your energy welcomes them. In Proverbs 3 verse 6, it says, "Seek His will in all you do, and He will show you which path to take." Notice it doesn't say, create the path. It says, follow. But how do you follow something you can't see? The answer lies in trust, and in knowing that silence is often the beginning of something sacred. There are seasons in life when faith feels like dust in your hands. You pray, but heaven is silent. You hope, but nothing changes. You show up day after day, doing your best, but the breakthrough never seems to come. And you begin to wonder, is God even listening? Did I get it wrong? Have I been forgotten? But here's the truth. Waiting is not punishment. It's preparation. Just like a seed buried in soil. There's no sunlight, no sound, only darkness. But something is happening beneath the surface. Roots are growing, foundations are forming, and when the time is right, it will rise, not a second too early, not a moment too late. Isaiah 40 verse 31 says, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength." God doesn't just give strength to the ones who move fast. He renews the hearts of those who choose to trust in the slow, silent work of becoming. So if your faith feels dry right now, don't give up. Don't abandon the process just because the results haven't shown. A delay is not a denial. It might just mean He's still preparing you for what you asked for. In fact, the most beautiful breakthroughs often happen right after the darkest silence. And when they arrive, they never come alone. They come with clarity, courage, and purpose. Sometimes, it's not God who's holding back the blessing. It's us. Not intentionally, of course, but quietly inwardly. We allow fear to take the driver's seat, doubt to whisper louder than faith, and bitterness to close the very door we've been praying to open. Let me tell you a short story. There was once a woman who prayed every night for a new job. She lit candles, spoke affirmations, quoted verses. But every time an opportunity came, she hesitated. I'm not ready. What if I fail? Or worse, what if it's not what I imagined? Deep down, she didn't believe she was worthy. And because of that, the door stayed open, but she never stepped through it. God can prepare the table. He can send the invitation, but He won't force you to sit down. And then there's bitterness, the silent blocker. Maybe someone hurt you. Maybe life didn't go the way you expected. And instead of healing, you've built walls. But walls don't just keep pain out. They also keep blessings from coming in. Proverbs 4 verse 23 says, "Guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." So if your heart is full of fear, doubt, or anger, what is flowing into your future? The good news? You don't have to fix it all at once. Start with a small act. Forgive someone. Speak a word of faith out loud. Thank God for what you do have, even before the next blessing arrives. Sometimes the biggest shift happens not outside us, but within us. And when that shift happens, when you clear the space inside, something beautiful occurs. Heaven finally has room to land its blessing. Imagine a farmer planting seeds in dry soil, watering, waiting, believing. He doesn't see the harvest yet, but he positions himself every day as if it's already on the way. That's what faith looks like. That's what alignment with God feels like. You see, God's blessings don't arrive because we chase harder. They arrive when we prepare the ground of our lives to receive them. So ask yourself gently, have I cleared the clutter of fear? Am I living in a way that welcomes what I've been praying for? If you want a new beginning, are you still holding on to an old story? If you're praying for love, are you becoming more loving? If you're asking for purpose, are you walking with intention, even when the path feels unclear? Here's a simple truth. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you're ready for. And readiness isn't about perfection. It's about alignment. It's found in the small things. Saying yes to the nudge in your spirit. Letting go of what no longer serves you. Showing up each day, not with control, but with trust. Even in silence, even in waiting, God is still moving. But the blessing lands where the heart is open and the soul is steady. So take a moment. Look not just at what you desire, but at who you're becoming. Because sometimes God isn't waiting on your timeline. He's waiting on your transformation. And when that shift begins inside you, the miracle doesn't feel like a surprise. It feels like a return to what was always meant for you. Maybe right now, you're in a season of waiting. Maybe the doors you've been knocking on feel silent. And your heart whispers, how much longer? But friend, you are not forgotten. You are being prepared. God doesn't rush what He's refining. The delay is not denial. It's divine alignment. So don't give up. Keep showing up. Keep watering your faith in quiet moments no one sees. Because every unseen prayer, every act of kindness, every time you chose peace over reaction, it's all being counted. The breakthrough may not shout when it arrives. Sometimes it slips in through a small moment of peace. A kind conversation. A quiet, yes, that feels different this time. So breathe. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Becoming the person who is ready to receive what God already wrote for you. If this message stirred something in your spirit, if it felt like it was meant just for you, then let the universe know. Comment below. I am ready for the blessing meant for me. Like this video if you believe your season of preparation has purpose. Share it with someone who's waiting too. Maybe they need this reminder today. And if you haven't already, subscribe to join a growing community of souls learning to live with clarity, faith, and peace. Because around here, we don't just wish for a better life. We grow into it, together.